Good evening and welcome to United Real Therapy Massive. How are we doing? Therapy, mate. Therapy Army. Where are ya? Where are ya? Big up Rachel. How you doing, Rachel? How are you, sis?
Oh, good, thank you. Thank you for having me on again. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's been a minute. It's been a minute here. It's definitely been a minute, man. Free Donny. That's people are on that already. Welcome to all of yous on here, people. Yeah. Yeah, welcome to the United Real Therapy, people. As you can see, we got Paul Scholesy in the house. Scholesy! Scholesy's in the house. C-Dog is somewhere. I think C-Dog took a lie down. So this is Sir Scholesy. Scholesy is chasing his little mice here. He's chasing his little mice here. Oh, here comes C-Dog. C-Dog is about as well. So there you go.
Great names, honestly.
Yeah. I'm good. So I've been busy with the kittens. I'm a cat dad now, officially Therapy Army. I'm a cat dad, people. That's how it's going down. But welcome to the preview. Obviously, it's been an absolute madness of 2 weeks, almost, or a week and a half. It's been international. It's been a week and a half, isn't it? It's almost been 2 weeks, and it's been a week and a half almost. International football, it bores the damn out of me, man. I get bored about it with international football. Especially as soon as the season started and then we hit it. But welcome to the United Real Therapy. Tonight we're going to be looking ahead to the Ronnie's return, as we call it on the show. Ronnie FC, mate. Man United who? Man United where? It's the Ronaldo show, mate. I'm telling you, if nobody else but Man United could do this level of propaganda, you would think Ronaldo was a UFC fighter. You would think he was a heavyweight boxing champion. You know what I mean? Like Ali and Frazier. The way they're milking every ounce of it.
You'd think Ronaldo was 26. Honestly.
Yo, is that good? They've took a decade off him. But anyway, massive. Welcome, Rachel. How have things been? How are you?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I did my first stream for my new channel.
Wicked.
Yeah, it was. I was so nervous throughout the whole stream, which is weird. I've been streaming for a while, but because it's such a sensitive topic. If you don't know, I'm starting a channel about law and ethics, and it's about raising awareness. So we spoke about grooming today, child exploitation, and then next week I'm going to be speaking about the police powers in the UK and stop and search powers of the police. Basically just educating people on their rights in this country, because a lot of people are not aware of them. So that's the whole point of that channel. But yeah, it was a nerve-wracking stream. Your cat.
I can't turn it off. I'm one of those dads now. Playtime, anytime. But yeah, that channel sounds amazing. I can't wait to make my debut on that channel. I genuinely cannot. When I have time, if I have time, I'm definitely going to come onto that channel. 100%. 100%. 100%. I'm disappearing because I'm trying to make sure that I'm not standing on C-Dog. C-Dog is about somewhere. You know how little kittens are. Cats are always around your ankles. But I can't wait to come on that channel. I can't wait. Hopefully I'll get an invite. Big up, Rachel. Welcome. Everybody's welcoming you back. Yes, right. Kelly's right. I mean, lassie. Man's a master's now. Got his master's. He graduated about a month ago, so it's lovely to see. No, not a month ago, a couple of weeks ago. So big up, chief reporter of United Real Therapy. Big up to every one of you people. Big up CR7 pending, man. Yeah, they're cute, man. They're cute, but they're little monsters as well. Respect Scholes, mate. Scholes. Viva Ronaldo. So obviously it's Propaganda FC, and you know it. He's coming out with absolutely full. It's full house in it. It is full house propaganda. So it's madness because he's just sat here like this, watching me. Just turn the camera to him. There you can see his little skulls. He's like, I want to be part of this football debate. I need to understand what's going on.
Who better than Scholesy, to be fair?
Scholesy is here, man. We could do with the Paul Scholes in this team. Welcome to the stream, Mundo. How you doing?
Hi guys. Yeah, not too bad.
You good?
Fix my camera.
Yeah, you're good. Let me just turn this into that so you can see. So yeah, it's it's going to be an interesting game tomorrow. But like I said it in the group that much me and Mundo are on. That the milking of it is just an absolute next level. So he better deliver. He better deliver tomorrow. Obviously, we know what Bruce has said. Bruce has said that he's looking forward to coming and spoiling the fun, spoiling the party tomorrow, which is going to be very, very interesting game because Newcastle, nobody expects them to do anything. Everything's been about Man United hype. Yeah, man. Listen, this cat is there, mate. Jamba. Hide your cat. It's Neil Ashton. Yo, this ain't Neil Ashton, mate. This cat here, this kitten here is against this Scholes. He hates Neil Ashton. Trust me. Scholes against Neil Ashton. He's against Neil Ashton. So this ain't no Neil Ashton, man. Neil Ashton try to come in my gaff, man, and run him out of here. But tomorrow is going to be a very interesting game because it's all been hype. Mundo, how you doing? How are the kids? How is everything?
Yeah, not too bad. Just cracking on with life.
Are you ready for? I can't even do it properly, you see. I couldn't even do it properly, you see.
Yeah.
I couldn't even do it properly. But are you ready for all that business tomorrow? Are you ready for Ronaldo FC tomorrow?
I'm looking forward to seeing Varane make his home debut.
Exactly.
I mean, coming into this season, I was so desperate for a centre half. So Ronaldo's just like, it's like if you haven't been fed for months and months and months, and then someone gives you bread and water, you're like, yeah, I'll have that bread and water. Ronaldo's like the dessert, you know what I mean? But I want to feed myself first before I enjoy the dessert. I want my defence to work, and also we've been waiting how many years? We haven't had a right winger since Valencia. Now we've got Sancho, you know. So although I'm happy that Ronaldo is with us and not Man City. For me, the bigger thing, the one I'm looking out for is Varane. That's. I want to see how him playing. Obviously, he played against Wolves, but in front of the Old Trafford faithful, I want to see how him coming into the team, whether or not that actually improves us tactically, makes up for the lack of midfield. So that's what I'm more interested in, and getting the 3 points. Yeah. So, and if Ronaldo scores, happy days, bonus. But
Rachel, what are you thinking about tomorrow? What are you thinking? What are you looking forward to seeing?
It's not. Obviously, I'm always looking forward to seeing United play, but I'm more curious to see how we'll set up because Brad and McTominay are not available. So I'm curious as to whether it's Matic Pogba or Matic Donny or something like that. So I'm curious about that. I'm not overly excited about the Ronaldo signing, but maybe when I see him in the shirt, maybe I'll be a bit more excited. But at the moment, I'm just like, didn't really want him. you know what I wanted. So
yeah,
the Ronaldo thing is just Ronaldo was supposed to be a signing that's sort of the cherry on top. You sort out your key areas, and he's like the bonus signing, and we sort of skipped a step, very important step, and. So it's kind of, I feel a bit of resentment there at the moment. But yeah, no, it's just nice to have club football back as well. I hate international break, and the fact that there's 2 more before Christmas makes me physically sick. Honestly, I can't deal with it anymore. It's just the week it's just long. The 2 weeks is like the longest 2 weeks, and honestly, the takes on Twitter and on Spaces are just wild. It's like people just go crazy during international break. So
yeah, it is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah. What am I looking forward to? I'll answer my own question. What am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to just seeing that. Hopefully, it ain't all hype. I really want to see the action now. It's not just all hype. I really want to see the action now. That's what I want to see. So it's going to be very interesting, and I'm going to be seeing that. Hopefully, it's this new look on Man United set up exactly like you. But when Ollie was asked in the press conference today, he basically said, McTominay, but I don't know if he's going to play. He's back, he's training, but I don't know if he's going to play. And I'm like, oh my God. He's like, maybe we might have to use him, maybe. And I'm just like, wow. My man will do anything to avoid starting Donny van der Beek, man. It's like it's absolutely crazy. I'm gonna ask you. Obviously, we're gonna come up to Donny in a minute, people. But that's the squad for tomorrow. Squad is De Gea, Heaton, Grant, Aaron Saka, Delot, Varane, Maguire, Lindelof, Bailly, Shaw, Matic, Van der Beek, Popper, Mata, Lingard, Fernandes, Sancho, Greenwood, Ilanga, Ronaldo. So there's no Cavani, obviously. No Cavani. He's been training for about a couple of weeks now, but I've not seen him in the training, to be fair. I've not been seeing him in the training. I've seen a little bit of videos. I've not seen him in the training videos.
Ronaldo.
Yeah, so I'm just going to be, what I'm going to be looking forward to more than anything tomorrow is that can we just get the hype out the way, the hype FC out the way, and then we can focus, because this international week has absolutely basically made sure that everything Man United could do is milk it, and we're just PR, and it's one of the worst things I hate about our club. It's just the fact that it's PR. It's pure PR all the time. It's just PR and PR and more PR. So I'm just waiting to see that if there's a real action taking place tomorrow, and then be able to watch real football. Definitely Varane's first game. Come here, you little rascal. Come and say hello. People, United Real Therapy people, C-Dog. Meet C-Dog. Scholes was here before. This is C-Dog. Say hello, C-Dog. One of the biggest, best ballers of his generation. Midfielders, an absolute done. One of the only players, I think, to win the European Champions League with 3 teams. Ajax, AC Milan, Real Madrid. So, yeah, don't sleep on Clarence C-Dog. So my 2 kittens in the household, C-Dog, Scholes. One's black. So I kept that simple. It's corny as hell, people, but that's where. But what I'm expecting tomorrow is that to see football, just to be able to see the game, and it's not just all about Ronaldo, it's about the team. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing tomorrow. In terms of, we know who's going to start in terms of in the midfield tomorrow. We know, I think the defense picks itself. I'll be shocked if it's not De Gea, Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw, Varane, Harry Maguire. Ollie said there was no injuries. I think, but for the first time ever, none of us really know what the attacking options are going to be. Here as well, did I say Martial? So Martial is on there. So Lingard is in there. So it's really interesting to see what our midfield is tomorrow, even though we should have a guest tomorrow say that, of course, it's going to be either Matic or Van der Beek. And Van der Beek came out during the week with Rio Ferdinand interview on Monday saying he can play as a number 6. You know what I mean? He can play as a number 6 or as a number 8. So this is going to be really interesting. That is going to be really interesting. And it's more interesting than you think. See, underneath, they're distracting me. I can't do a stream, mate, honestly. They're absolute little crazy little kittens. I'm trying to make sure that I don't step on them. I've got big feet, people, and I don't want to step on them because they're always hanging around your feet. So it's going to be interesting to see who starts. I think most likely he's going to go for Matic. I'll be shocked if Donny starts tomorrow. But the question I want to ask you guys is, who do you think is going to start midfield, and who's your front 3 for this game against Newcastle? Who are you picking as your front 3 tomorrow? I know one guy that was undroppable, Greenwood. He's not gone any international. He's not flew anywhere. He's been at OT training. So other than Greenwood, who plays with Greenwood? Forget all this Ronaldo hype. Who plays with Greenwood, man? Who plays with him? I'll go to you first, Rachel.
I think Ronaldo is going to start in the front 3. So I think it's going to be Ronaldo, Greenwood. The left side depends, because if Oli goes with like Donny and Matic, then Pogba might be playing on the left. But if Pogba's playing in the middle, then it's difficult to pick who's going to play on the left, because Martial and Sancho neither of them have been particularly impressive in the start of the season. So I kind of hope he plays Donny. I want to see Donny and Matic play together, move Pogba on the left, Ronaldo up front, and then Greenwood on the right, maybe. I think he'll go for that.
Yeah. I just, honestly, I'm just sick of this formation. If you want to be honest, I'm absolutely sick of the formation. I think Man United have got players to play 4-3-3. I think the 4-3-3. Me personally, I think that when I watched, obviously international football, you can't really compare. But Pogba is used to playing in a 3. Donny van der Beek is used to playing in a 3. Bruno is used to playing in a 3. So we've got 3 players who are all used to playing in a 3. But obviously, all 3 of them are a bit more attacking minded. They're more attacking minded thing. But I just think you choose 2 of those. And Matic is the only, especially at home. I don't want to see 2 holding or 2 number 8s in the pivot. I don't want to see that. I'd be shocked if Newcastle are going to come at us tomorrow and they're going to try to beat and take control of the midfield. I doubt that. I think they're going to try to play low block. And I think at Old Trafford, for me, is always criminal, Mundo. You remember when we were young going to that stadium, the idea that you got 2 holding guys, 2 defensive midfielders, it's just attack rings all around that stadium. Like most people won't stand for that. Away games, I understand. You have to silence the away fans. You got to go cautious. You can't go gun ho. You can't concede, and let the other team's fans get into the game. But at Old Trafford, I just don't want to see that. And I think it's the kind of season we have. Our strength is attack. We've got more attacking options available to us, and I just don't want to see that. I just don't want to see 2 pivot guys who are going to just not go past the halfway line and just babysit each other. I don't want that. I genuinely don't want that. So, Mundo, who starts for you in midfield and who starts up front with Greenwood? Because Greenwood is definitely going to play for me.
I kind of agree with everything that Rachel said. She took the words out of my mouth. I think.
Sorry.
I think it will be. I think it could be Matic and Donny, and Pogba high wide on the left. But if Pogba plays in the 2, then I think that he will go with Sancho's just come back having a knock from international duty, so I think he'll play it safe and play Martial. I think Martial, Ronaldo, Greenwood up front.
Mm-hmm.
And just on that point you made about the formation, I hate this formation. I absolutely hate this formation because it doesn't make any sense to me anyway when I watch Man United, because we play double pivot, but teams still get to our defence really quickly.
Thank you.
Like, why have we got those 2 guys there? And
it'd be even worse than a 4-3-3 though. If you give so the whole point of a pivot, right? It's not 2 6s or 2 DMs. The whole point is that you have one player who's a DM or someone who sits deeper, and the person next to them can go box to box with a 6/8. It's not 2 6s, so to speak.
But we don't play it like that, Rachel. We never play it like that.
It depends on the game. Like when we played Fred and Pogba, the reason why Pogba stepped back was because Fred was having an absolute howler of the game, and even Pogba didn't play particularly well. And because of that, we ended up in a situation where we don't have the players to play a 4-3-3. I'm sorry, like when you have 2 players in there who are not naturally defensive midfielders or players that have the awareness and the ability to intercept balls in and just be intelligent off of the ball. Because Pogba and Fred are not like that defensively. We can talk about Pogba's qualities going forward, but let's be honest about Paul Pogba right now. Paul Pogba defensively is not good enough, and we've seen that. Like that one where the one right in the beginning where Fred gave the ball away to Adama Traore, one of the worst passes you'll ever see, by the way. He gave it to Adama Traore. Paul Pogba stood there, and because of that, Fred came across the cover for him, and they both ended up losing the ball. But what should have happened really is Pogba should have been the one to engage, and Fred should have been the one to cover that in that situation. Pogba didn't do anything, and this is good.
No,
they all have deficiencies here.
Yeah. 100%. But this is where me and you disagree. I think it's the fact that I'll share the article with you sometime. But to me, when I watched Bruno, the idea that Bruno's never had this amount of freedom and never not had a responsibility to defend anytime he's ever played in midfield, anytime he's played for the team. His coach at Sporting Lisbon said, and when honestly, whatever, like when you go to the stadium, you see it differently. Against Leeds, obviously they go man for man. loads of times, and even when his first debut, so his debut when Bruno came, Bruno was going all over, and I was like, wow, this guy's got no tactical discipline. Now that comes from a manager, because there are certain things that a manager can stall and say, you know what? Yes, it's always been. We remember, me and Mundo are old enough to remember Ince and Keane. Now some people might say that that's totally different kind of football. One of them used to hold, one of them used to go box to box. They were taking turns. So when one went forward, the other one would think, okay, I'm going to stay because I'm not, both of us can't go, right? That's how it's going to be. I played in midfield, and that's a position that I always think, you know what was I? What kind of a midfielder was I? I was the kind of midfielder, I let my passing do the work, but I mostly helped out the defense. Understanding that when I was coached, right, I used to go every week, Mundo knows, when I used to play. I used to go to a place called Platt Lane, actually, where Man City Stadium used to be. That coach used to teach me, right, positioning. This is a position. He would like carve out like the half, you know, like a half. We used to train of a AstroTurf and a half of an AstroTurf. And he would tell me, this is your discipline. This is where the difference is. When it comes to on Sunday, this is where you are. Now, the other midfielder sometimes played as a number 10. Or he was kind of a hybrid as a number 8. Sometimes, depending on the team, what we played against. But when I see Bruno, I see Bruno's positional sense, especially this season against in the Wolverhampton game. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you the striker? Like, he's further forward and he's supposed to be a hybrid number 8, right? Bruno's not your typical number 10. He's a hybrid attacking midfielder number 8. And if you read his manager, the words of his manager at Sporting Lisbon, he was like, if Manchester United think that Bruno is a number 10, he's not a number 10. He's never been a number 10. Bruno is a very clever attacking midfield player. He's a number 8. And you have to be able to put responsibilities on him to be able to start. But going back to the Leeds game, at times Wan-Bissaka was going far. And I've seen, and there's enough games, I mean, I love to get the clip just to play the example, that Bruno is far more intelligent, far more brilliant presser of the ball. His tackling is really good, and his tracking back is fantastic. But we never utilize him, especially now, because we're going to have one player who's going to play majority of games, and that's Ronaldo. I shared a tweet today from Rooney, and Rooney saying Man United players have to do a lot more for him off the ball, and the best thing what Ronaldo gives you, he scores the goals to win you games. So Man United players have to work hard. So this idea for me of this 2 in the pivot, because when I watch Man United, and I always go back to last season, Fred and McTominay played majority of the season. Manchester United conceded 29 goals at Old Trafford. You take away the 6, right? That still makes more goals than Liverpool, who had 6 fifth choice centre-halves and were playing centre midfield and centre-halves. So the idea for me, when I look at our team, I look at attacking players and I look at what we've got in midfield. If Ollie tries it and then we get slaughtered, because I look at it, I think defensively with Fred and McTominay, even as 2 holding guys, or not holding or defensively disciplined, because they're not. By the way, neither of them are a number 6. Neither of them are number 6, right? They're not number 6s. But both of them playing in them in that kind of position literally destabilize our team. Attacking wise, they offer us nothing. On the press, Fred, on a good day when he's on form, especially in the big games where we play a low block, Fred is good on the press. He's good on the press. But in the other times, we getting pulled apart. And I can talk about the Villa game, away game, so many games, Wolverhampton game, where we got absolutely dominated and maddened in midfield. Now, I 100% agree with you, Rachel, about Paul Pogba. Teams have sussed out that Paul Pogba actually, when he's in a deeper position, on his back to go, on basically, on his back, on facing our goal, is the most dangerous thing for him, because he's the kind of guy where at least somebody who plays as the wingers, the inverted wingers who play, regardless whatever team we play against, a midfielder, 2 players go on him quickly. And he likes to dilly-dally on the ball. He likes to take touches. When he plays first time, because I've seen him do it for France, but for France, he's giving specific instructions. Play the one touch, move the ball, and obviously when you got Kante next to you, it looks like you might as well have two players next to you.
He still makes the same mistakes for France, though. He literally
No,
cost
I understand that, but his mistakes are not as they are. And Man United, because the way our league is and the way teams don't give you any time on the ball at all, but specifically they targeting. And the first game I ever saw it was Southampton after we came back from the lockdown at Old Trafford when they drew 2-2, when they swamped the whole team and they specifically targeted in. People like Troy Deeney talks about people targeting Fred because his first touch is horrendous and his spatial awareness is horrendous, right? That was the thing that's what Watford worked on, and he worked for them and they did those. Yeah. But Pogba is another threat in terms of that sense because he dallies on the ball, he's looking down, he's trying to find what people to hit, and by that time they get the ball taken away. And I also personally think he's doing it on purpose because he's basically saying, when you listen to him clearly in the interviews, I am better from more attacking positions. I can give the team more from attacking positions. But Rachel, I get you the right to reply. Sorry.
No. I agree with a lot of what you're saying. It's just that to play a 4-3-3, you need a bit of intelligence in there. You know, you need players that can work well together. And I just feel like you put obviously Bruno's going to play. You want Pogba to play. You want Matic in there as well. But the problem is, are Pogba and Bruno both going to get back and forth and try and help Matic if you play a 4-3-3? Probably not. So in that point, you compromise and you say, okay, we'll take out one of Pogba or Bruno. We'll bring in, say, maybe a Donny or McTominay or Fred for certain games. But even then, McTominay and Fred are lacking as footballers anyway, even though McTominay's improved. And Donny, I think Donny will thrive in that situation, but the problem is Donny's not going to want to drop Pogba or Bruno. So at that point, you play Pogba on the left? Like I don't think he really knows what he wants to do, to be honest with you, which is annoying because he's been here for long enough. He should kind of know what he wants to do with the midfield. But you know me, I wanted us to buy a midfielder. That was really what I wanted in the first place. But no, I agree with a lot of your points. It's just, I don't think it's simple as saying, you know, we just switch to a 4-3-3. It takes time, especially when players are not playing in their right position. So
to tell you what, I think that United should try the 4-3-3 because I think Bruno is too advanced. So when teams break on us, because our fullbacks get up the pitch and they're encouraged to get up the pitch, we've got 6 players attacking and only 4 players defending because Bruno's so advanced. And if you look at teams like Liverpool and Man City, when they attack, they have 5 attackers and 5 defenders. So, for example, with Liverpool, their 3 midfielders very rarely go beyond their front 3, right? But their fullbacks get right up the pitch. So if the move breaks down, obviously they press from the front. Both teams are pressing teams, so that's the difference between them and us. But also, they've also got 5 defenders as well. So they've got the 3 midfielders and 2 centre halves. Yeah. With Man City, one of their fullbacks steps into the midfield, one of their midfielders goes, their other fullback gets up the pitch, and again they've got 5 guys there if the team breaks down. When moves break down with Man United, when you watch us, it's 4 guys. Sometimes it's 3 if you're playing Pogba in the double pivot. It doesn't even count as a defender. So you've got 2 centre halves, and then whoever's playing next to Pogba. So teams get straight to our defence. So I've never seen any. It's like, even though we're playing that formation, we're so open. Teams get to our defence so quickly, unless we're playing the low block. Like if we're playing against Man City, where we play the low block, so our players are already 10 yards further back than they would be normally. But when we're playing at home and we're expected to attack teams, it's just. But with Varane now in the team, I mean, that's the other issue as well, isn't it? That our centre halves are slow. So people can get down the channels, but they can get behind Luke Shaw. Wan-Bissaka not so much. But Wan-Bissaka's not great on the back post, so they get behind Shaw, get the ball across. Lindelof and Wan-Bissaka don't deal with it, and we can see the goal. How many times have we seen that? So let's see what Varane's impact is in terms of sorting that element of the game out. But I just think I think we would be better just with, even though we don't have the personnel per se to play the 4-3-3. I just think we would be better just to have an extra body in there, because at the moment we're just playing with 2 midfielders and 4 attackers. Whereas I think if you put an extra guy back, if you drop Bruno back into the midfield, then I just think just even though he's not a tackler, he's got an extra body in there, if you see what I mean.
Mundo, you'd be surprised. You'd be so surprised the amount of times I've seen him where he tracks back when actually sometimes he's the last man. The thing about Bruno is that at Man United, when he goes on the pitch, we go, Bruno, you go everywhere. Obviously, there's certain games when we play against a low block, and sometimes he comes deep. And obviously, me and Rachel, we've discussed this many times about the contribution of Fred and McTominay in terms of transitioning the ball through the third, on our third, from our goal to the opposition's third. So he comes back. But actually, at times when Man United defensively, he's the trigger. He's become the trigger for the press. But at times, he's average positional sense, he's the furthest forward for Man United. And now I'm not just looking at the Leeds game. I was looking at specifically, and obviously this is tactic. This is not just, I'm making a simplistic saying that all he's just saying, get on the pitch. But Bruno is somebody that you can take instructions if given defensive discipline and positional discipline. Because the thing about him is that majority of times, I don't think Ollie or any of the coaching staff at Man United who play for Man United, when Man United are through this transition in terms of when we're counter-attacking, is go, 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 right? And I 100% agree with you, Mundo, is that when our moves break down and we get attacked on, even with Fred and McTominay, we get wanted because neither of them are naturally defensive players. Fred is a presser. You look at the best games where they have. The best games I can tell all of us and seen it and have is that when we play low block and we play technically gifted football teams, Paris Saint-Germain, Man City, times at Liverpool, when we get when the other team dominating possession, and that's why I always say, when you've got everybody next to you, you look like a world beater of a defender, you look like a world beater because all of the gaps are tightened. Everybody's moving together as in a system. And that's what I see at Man United. But big up Jamal, I just want to read out, and Rachel, I'll let you come in. I want to big up Jamal Abdul. Big up Nuruddin Mundo, I haven't seen you in ages, Rachel. Yeah, big up Rachel. Nuruddin, sorry, last Monday, I was not rational. The same time myself and my G, bless, over the moon, we move. Had the best week of my life since my accident. Jamal, just to update some of you guys, Jamal's had a horrific accident. Apparently, one of his limbs has been amputated. He's going through a difficult time mental health-wise. So please join me in wishing him well. Bro, good to see you. We genuinely happy to have you here. And thank you for joining the stream. And big up, man. And like I said, chill out with the super chats, bro, man. I've already told you, I want to give you your money back. So please send me the details, but we'll talk. I'm not that much of an Instagram person, but I know that's what you're on, but I'll try to reach you out there. So big up to everybody, man. But Rachel, come on in.
Sorry, I wasn't. What we talking about now?
We're just saying about the 4-3-3.
Yeah.
For me, trying it because we already talked about me and Mundo. We already talked about the fact that because the way our fullbacks go high up. Like to me, I want to just educate some of the young people. If you ever want to know how you defend with how you protect centre halves when your fullbacks play as wing backs, right? The best team, the first time I ever saw that in football was 1994 World Cup, Brazil, Dunga, Mario Silva. Am I right, Mundo? Mario Silva.
Mario Silva, yeah.
And Dunga, he was the captain. He became later the Brazil manager. Two of those guys. There was Leonardo on the one side. Was it Cafu on the other side? Or somebody else on the other side? I think it was definitely Leonardo, who's now the Paris Saint-Germain. Those of you know, Paris Saint-Germain president. Director of football. And they would absolutely, as soon as Brazil get the move breakdown, they were fitting perfectly. And that's what Liverpool copy, but Liverpool copy more of it in a 3. And to me, I would just drill that into them. If I had any coach abilities at Old Trafford, I would make Fred and McTominay watch those two again and again and again. And to me, this is where the coaches and the manager earns their bread, because I think the players that we have, the way that we do with this midfield, we're still getting slaughtered. So for me, and like you said, Mundo, I agree. We have to try it, but giving the players defensive responsibilities. And I'm also to agree with Rachel. At times, you look at certain games and certain teams and go, Pogba, this game ain't for you. Bruno, this game ain't for you. You ain't bigger than Man United, mate. Hit the bench. Hit the bench. Because at the end of the day, it's squad that wins you. If you want to be successful, it's not 11 players, it's a squad. But Rachel, come in.
What I was going to say is, I don't see how us playing a 4-3-3 is going to solve any issue, because while the 4-2-3-1 has a few issues, the 4-3-3 also invites its own kind of issues as well. And when you were speaking about how when we were broken on by Wolves and how we only had 4 people there, let's make something very clear here. What Maguire and Varane did was they actually jockeyed and they kept their distance from them and sort of held their shape. And what Fred and Pogba did, or Pogba stood still, but Fred went straight in there. If Fred had an ounce of intelligence in him, he would have jockeyed backwards as well, like what a DM would have done. So at that point, you're thinking it's not just about the formation, it's also about the players. Because Fred always does it. Fred doesn't jockey. But you looked at the way Varane, I mean, there was a couple of incidents where Varane was one-on-one with Adama Traore, and he just showed him onto his wrong foot, and Adama Traore wasn't having any of it, because Varane's very intelligent in those sort of areas. So sometimes, look, I agree. Like, you know how I feel about the midfield. Honestly, you know how I feel. I've gone on about that enough. But sometimes it's not just about coaching. It's not just about, Ollie and all this kind of stuff. Sometimes it's simply the players. And I'm sorry, but now midfielders, they lack so much. I mean, Fred is reckless. If Fred's, you know how you just know that Fred's going to have a poor game within the first 5 minutes of the game? Do you know what I mean? You just know what kind of mood he's in, at least for that half anyway. I remember against PSG. I mean, when we played against PSG and he got sent off, we sort of knew it was coming. Same thing against Wolves. As soon as he lost the ball and gave the ball straight to Adama Traore, I was like, okay, it's one of these games. I knew exactly what was going to be happening throughout that half. So we just have players that are just not 7 out of 10s every week. We have players who sometimes, they look great for a period of games, and then all of a sudden they look like 2 out of 10s. That's just the players that we have in midfield. We don't have a 7 out of 10 midfielder. Roy Keane was a player who always turned up. Sometimes he turned up a bit too much and started, fly kicking people. Don't speak about that too much, but in terms of performance, he gave it his all, and he was a consistent player. How many players do we have in the midfield that are consistent? We have Matic, who on his day looks very good. Like, his passing is better than McTominay and Fred. His positional awareness is much better. And then you've got McTominay and Fred, who one day they look like they're buzzing and they're all over the place, and then the next minute they look like they've never kicked a ball in their lives. So at some point, look, I agree that there's more the coaches could probably do. There's more that Ollie can do in terms of decision making, like trying out Donny van de Beek, whose positioning is much better, his spatial awareness is much better. But let's not take the blame away from some of these players in terms of their ability, because some of them are just simply not good enough. To be honest,
but
basic
that brings me back, Rachel. That brings me back. That was a huge position that we needed to change. And with all those coaching, I'm just thinking, what are they watching? What are the coaches watching? Because there were limited footballers at Man United in the past, but they were given jobs, and they went and did those jobs. Phil Neville,
they also did
O'Shea,
Fletcher. They didn't play every game, so when they did play for it and they had a specific role, they were perfect for it. Do you know what I mean?
Honestly, there were seasons where O'Shea played almost majority of league games in various different positions, where he played as a right back, sometimes as a left back, sometimes filled in midfield, and the same with Phil Neville. They didn't play every game. I understand that. But for me, I'm just so sick of this pivot stuff. And that's why I'm like 4-3-3, because just give me something different. Just show me something different. Because when I watch Man United, and I'm not, at the end of the day as well, I blame the players, but I also blame the coaching. Because I'm a believer that I've seen Manchester United players improve, right, throughout the years that I've been watching with individual coaching. I have seen people being drilled. I know, for example, Carlos Queiroz, Brendan Mullenstein, Broly with a Wally. Steve McLaren. They were all individual
Right.
coaches, right? I know people think the Broly with a Wally, right? But he, as a coach, improved players because when you do one-to-one coaching, you drill a certain aspect
Yeah,
of
but
the.
Nuruddin, do you not think that quite a few of our players have improved though?
No,
you
no,
think
no. But listen, Luke Shaw, for me, Luke Shaw, it's just mainly his head confidence. He had the ability. We remember what he was like on the Vanguard before he broke his leg, right? Luke Shaw, for me, Greenwood is a transition. He's a generational talent. So obviously going up the levels, but having the confidence and the calmness at Man United, and this is where I credit Ollie. Ollie has created calmness. There's no like crazy temperature at Man United. Do you know what I mean? Like even when things are bad, when we lose games, the temperatures, you know what I mean, it's kept at the same level because it's never too gun-ho or it's never. I think certain players thrive on that. But in terms of individual coaching, I'm sorry, Rachel, I don't see it because I am a guy who lives in Hume. I play football, yeah. I might have coached a little bit, yeah. And I paid attention when I was being coached. But when I look at Wan-Bissaka, I'm like, you don't have to ever have kicked a football to realize that what is Phelan doing? What is Kieran McKenna doing? What is Carrick doing? What's Ollie doing? What's the video team doing? Where
what's
the same
Wan-Bissaka
ball.
doing?
No, but what I'm saying to you, but this is what I'm saying to you. The thing about what United is, there was a accountability placed on players. But this is where I get afraid. In the same way Ollie keeps the temperature low, it's Ollie telling the players, yo, this week you made this mistake. Midweek you made the same mistake. The week after that you made the same mistake. The other 5-6 games you're making the same mistakes. 10 games you're making the same mistake. 15 games you're making the same mistakes. What do I have to tell you? Right? Watch what you're doing. And this is where it takes on the player. Now, true professional footballers who really want to improve, go home, they got iPad. Everybody's got iPad. We got phones. They all got iPads, right? Majority of footballers, they know whoever they're playing against, and only why? Because I read the books, right? I read majority of their books. But Rio Ferdinand especially talks about having an iPad, knowing the night before a big game, huge game, that striker, where he's going to shoot. Is he more on the left foot? All of that is put together by the video team, video analysis team. And I'm like, how come the same basic thing is happening? Like, it's more impossible for the same thing to keep happening and happening and happening. Because when I look at people like Brighton players, when I look at Bielsa is Leeds, I'm like, those players are not more athletic than you. Those players are not more agile than you. They're not more superbly on the ball as you. They're not more technically gifted than you. But when they get the ball, you can see the drill, the ball. You know already where the ball is going, where the next pass is going. I don't see that with Man United. I saw it after the lockdown. After the lockdown, I got to give it to Ollie. After the lockdown, I saw it when we had that 6 month or whatever period of, when we came back from the lockdown and we won something like 9 games in a row or 10 games in a row. I saw it. I saw it was mainly Matic, Pogba, Bruno. And then the front three, Rashford, Greenwood, Martial. And the interchanging was absolutely, that's some of the best football we played in that, for us to get finished third in that time of the league. After that, I never saw it. And
what did you have in that period though, Nuruddin? What was key in that period?
First of all, there's no fans in the stadium. So
that doesn't affect tactics though.
Yeah, but what I'm thinking, that to me was in a time when I was watching that, I saw Matic playing as a number 6. Obviously, had a rest. Obviously, all had a rest, right? So everybody looked energized. But in those 10 games, we played those 3 guys together. And people forget, McTominay wasn't playing. In that crazy league run, McTominay and Fred, both of them were coming off the bench. But to me, there was the stability in midfield. And for me, what it looked like, Pogba and Bruno knew their responsibility. In any of those times, tactically, I never saw Bruno going beyond Martial. Never. I did not see that once. I saw people holding, and I saw the front 3 interchanging. Like 1 minute it'll be Greenwood, then Martial will go to the left, Rashford will come across this side. But the biggest thing what I saw was Matic's discipline. Matic's discipline in front of that back 4. That's what I saw, especially in the games where we had the most possession. and things look fluid. We look fluid in that. But
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question about Matic, right? How old is Matic? How old is Matic now? 33.
34, isn't he? It's like something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, 33, right? So he's not that old, really. Okay, he's coming towards the end of his career, but he's 33, right? He's not like he's an old man. When you look at Rodri from Man City, he's not particularly fast, is he, Rodri? He's not a fast player, right? The problem with Matic, a lot of the time, is his pace, right? And he's not going to get around the pitch, but he's got the intelligence to know where to be on the pitch at the right time. So you've got to put legs around him, don't you? You've got to put guys in the midfield who are going to do the running for him. I think for us, tactically, the issue is, and people might think I'm crazy saying this, the issue tactically is Pogba. We can't get the right balance with Pogba in the team.
You're not wrong.
I think if you put Donny in there next to Matic, right, and Fernandes in that midfield three, or
it's been
however you
proven
want
already.
One.
It's been proven already, Mundo.
This is what I'm saying about the Paul Pogba situation, right? Like, Paul Pogba's a wonderful player. Like, he's a wonderful football player. But the last few months or so, when we've been watching him play, he's been brilliant on the left, because when he's asked to defend, he's occupying space and he's not confronting players. So he's just occupying an area, and if he needs to step in to do something, he will do it. And that's why he's better on the left, and he gets all this creative freedom. He gets to come inside when Bruno drops deep, or when he goes beyond the striker. Like, Paul Pogba will come inside and he'll find that space, and Luke Shaw will overlap him to provide the width. So Paul Pogba on the left, I like Paul Pogba on the left very much. And I think the problem is, at the moment, when you play him in midfield, you just see all his deficiencies defensive. Like, he's not a terrible defender. He's not like the worst defensive player in the world or anything like that.
But Rachel, he doesn't want to play there. You can see in his body language, he doesn't want to play there.
Exactly. So he shouldn't be playing. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm happy for him to play on the left tomorrow.
But then this is where the problem lies. Why the hell are you spending 73 million? So that position that we all agree now that Paul Pogba thrives, because when he's out the middle, he's not a liability. And we all, when he's all holding the ball in midfield, all our breath, we all go like that. That's where we all go. Oh, damn, what's going to happen to him? But even the dog agrees. I forgot your dog's name.
Angel, yeah.
Angel knows that I'm like, what? Right. So basically, when I see that is our area, and the left-hand side in that is where we're strongest. Lingard can play there. Rashford plays there. We've just bought a 35 million pound player, 34 million pound player to play in the wider positions. And that is what I'm saying about the team, because that, to me, Fred and McTominay, that's what they do. And I'm sorry to say, genuinely, right, I don't want to see them. I never want to see them again. And the biggest thing why I was like, I'm ready for Varane, is that I don't ever want to see them ever again. And that's why I am desperate to think that at times, all he has to be brave and make decisions. This game ain't for you, mate. You're going to be a liability. So I'd rather bring you on, or you share, or I'm going to take you on.
Here's another question. Like you alluded to it before. You said, right, under Ferguson, we played Phil Neville in midfield. We played John O'Shea. We played Phil Jones, right? In 2011, when we won the league, most of that season we played, well, a lot of games we played with O'Shea and Ryan Giggs centre midfield, right? Here's a question for you. Can Lindelof play as a centre CDM?
No.
Why not?
For me. Not in the Premier League, because you have to. One of the things what you have to understand is that all of those guys, O'Shea could play in the midfield, because everybody knew what he was doing, right? Phil Jones stepped in maybe I think one game, and he was horrendous. I think one game he played decent, the other game he was horrendous. The biggest thing for me, Lindelof, is that one thing to play in midfield, Mundo, you have to have the spatial awareness. You have to be able to know the ball is coming, and you have to be able to know there's nobody on this side. So when the ball gets passed to you, other than you stopping, because for midfield is the place where you need to be the most fluid. It's where you can't hold on to the ball too much, and you can't stop and dictate. And as a centre half, if he's played in training, Mundo, in midfield all this season and the preseason and everything, then I would say yeah. But the ball has to move. The ball, when somebody passes you the ball, You've got to be able to understand that that ball does the more of the ball.
Okay, I'll rephrase the question. Can he be
But he
retrained
played
as a
it before.
CDM?
Yeah,
Can he be
no,
retrained?
listen, but that's in Portugal. That's in Portugal, and it's not the Premier
No, he
League.
played it. He played it for an international. No, what I would say is that
International football is slightly different, though.
No, I know that, but Lindelof's spatial awareness isn't actually that bad. He's actually a very intelligent player. The
No,
the problem is that he's a wimp.
Yeah.
That's the problem with him as a centre half. He's a wimp.
But the ball's not going to be in the air that much, you would think. But for me, the biggest thing is that in the centre midfield, when it gets hectic, that little half a second of you knowing the special awareness, the ball, let the ball just go through your legs, or let the ball just guide the ball to your left hand side or to your right hand side to be able to just pass it off straight away. I don't think he has that. And in the Premier League, teams target that. That's why Fred gets targeted. Fred plays there more. That's why he gets targeted. Now, Mundo, if you were to ask me and say, okay, tomorrow we're going to get Renan Munestein, Carlos Queiroz, or one of them to do individual work with him in training in the next couple of months, can he be able to play there? Yes, because I've seen O'Shea and Phil Neville and these guys, because all of them, Mundo, Tom Cleverley looked like a baller. That's what I'm talking about. Like, when I tell people go, oh, coaching can't improve that much. Coaching can improve. Tom
Cleverley had like a little purple patch. He got injured and then he never.
I understand that. Honestly, you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you. He had a purple patch, but from when Tom Cleverley first came in the team to when he worked with Renan Munestein and the coaching staff, how he played in midfield and how the football we played in midfield got the best out of him was incredible. And this is somebody who played with him. They asked Rio Ferdinand, what player did you play with? And did you think, you know what, they should have played more?
You know, the thing is, I think...
Let me just read this comment 1 second. Jamal, we're going into an hour about it. No, I want to thank you for your content. Helped me massively. You said the personal struggles, my mental health was all-time low. Worst is behind me. Glad to hear, brother. Glad to hear. Go on, Mundo.
No, I was going to say that I think what you're saying, and I agree. Because when I look at the other big teams, the teams that we're competing against, what they have is tactical flexibility. Like, their players can play in a number of positions, and I don't think we possess. I don't know if it's the coaching or if it's our playing squad, but you know, like for example, they've got guys who can play left back, left wing, centre half, step into midfield. You know, Man City the same, Liverpool the same. I don't think we've got any players that tick that box. You know what I mean?
Mundo, but this is where the excuses for the coaching staff and the manager comes in, and I'm not having it. I saw horrendous squad, Louis van Gaal, go to Anfield, go to the Etihad, absolutely dominate Man City and Liverpool. I saw that.
Oh, Liverpool were trash back then.
No, I know that. I listen, but I also saw, obviously, Van Gaal, team Liverpool came and done in us with Coutinho at Old Trafford. But what I'm saying to you is that majority of those games I saw Fellaini and players like him, like Schneider. That Schneiderlin guy wasn't that technically gifted. He's not more horrendous than what McTominay and Fred are, but with good coaching and drilling, Mundo, I see it. I see it happen. Like I said, I will point to that. Majority of times when I talked about Eddie Howe, it's the transition, the attacking way they used to play. Bournemouth, the way they go move through the third, the way that the team shapes, the way they pass it out from the back. Like, I don't see any of that at Man United. And I always think, yes, I agree with Rachel. We blame the players because some of the players are just not good enough. But then I'm like, how can this club not address... You
blame the club.
Yeah.
How can this club do the best they can?
Yeah. How can this club not address the most significant position that we've all been screaming out after the centre half this summer? Instead, we're all Ronaldo. But anyway, we can go into this talk another time. We'll do a tactical debate next time, guys. We're nearly coming to the show. So you said Pogba, Ronaldo, Greenwood. That's your front three. And who's your in the midfield in three, or the midfield two, Rachel?
If Pogba's on the left, it's Matic, Donny van de Beek.
Donny van de Beek, Bruno. Okay, that looks interesting. So that, what do you think the score's going to be tomorrow, Rachel?
4-0 United.
4-0.
Yeah, Ronaldo hat-trick and Greenwood to score.
Wow. I don't think it's going to be that easy game. I don't
I
think
think Ronaldo loves scoring against Newcastle. He's
of
bringing it
course,
back.
the
He
history.
better. He needs to give me a reason to cheer for him at the moment.
The history is there. The goals are there. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that easy, that much of an easy game. I think they're going to come on. I think they've been working on. I think not a lot of their defense are all internationals. I know that Bruce would have done a lot because Bruce is under huge pressure, and he knows coming to Old Trafford to come and spoil the party, and especially playing against a big team and Man United league kind of potential challenges and all of that balava. They're going to come and do. I think this is a very dangerous game because Newcastle have 0 to lose. If they get beat 4-0 tomorrow, ain't nobody batting an eyelid other than a couple of moaners.
They're not a good team, no.
Like, a couple of Newcastle moaners. But Mundo has rarely as football ever gone down to that kind of script. You know than I know. Look at us against Wolves. To me, your team is only good as the last 2 games.
But Wolves are a good team.
Horrendous.
Wolves are actually a good team.
No, but Mundo, but we were horrendous.
Ollie made a mistake playing Fred and Pogba in the midfield.
We were horrendous.
Just not do that again. That's all he needs to do. He needs to stop forcing Pogba into the pivot when he's been playing on the left. Just let the central midfielders do their work and let Pogba do his magic on the left because he's played well.
Yeah.
That's all he has to do. Stop changing him around. He's been one of our better performers as well. When he played on the left against Southampton, he was one of our bright sparks. And then he pushed him into midfield and played Lengard there.
Killed him.
What is that?
Killed him.
Yeah, it confuses me.
Then after that, we couldn't even get hold of the ball. We had 0 creativity. We were just headless chickens like we usually are. Mundo, come on, tell me.
What, the team or the score?
No, I'm just just a score. We already know your team. You picked Pogba as well, didn't you? So you're Sancho Martial on the bench for Pogba. Brilliant. Go on.
I think because of the occasion, because we've got Ronaldo, I'm going to go for a high score as well. I think 3 or 4-0. 4-0.
Wow. I'm not
4-1 because we have a habit of conceding, but Varane tax, so it's 4-0. It's 4-0 actually. Yeah, keep it 4-0. Varane's going to give us the clean sheet.
Okay. It's really interesting, Rachel. Fasil Malik I've gone exactly the same. 4-0 Ronaldo, Patrick Greenwood win. Wow. There you go. People, yeah. Yeah, man, love, Jamal. Always good to see you, bro. I'm so happy that you're doing well. And I'll say that on behalf of the whole United Real Therapy. I think it's going to be a closer game, like I said. Games hardly ever go to script. Man United always make it hard. I think the crowd are going to be up for it. I will think it's all about the first goal. I think if Manchester United score early, Newcastle can be in trouble, right? But I also see Brucey coming to stop because I'm telling you, certain managers pull it out of their hat now and again, especially against big teams. I know what Southampton did to them. Southampton beat them, didn't they? Or did they beat them? I think it was Southampton beat them. I think they got beaten. It was West Ham that beat them.
4-2. Yeah, 4. Was it 4?
Yeah, hit them for 4. So obviously there's no striker, but Gucci Man is coming for us. Gucci Man always comes. And
he's like Traore though, isn't he? Like he has all the silky skill, gets to the box and does nothing.
Listen, Gucci Man has had 2 good games last time when I've been there at Old Trafford. Well,
he's very talented. It's just that he's so it confuses me how players that have this incredible dribbling talent just don't. It looks like they don't practice shooting at all. Yeah. It's like they just practice running back and forth up the pitch
final piece,
with the ball. But they can't. They have.
I think he scored a banger last season, though, didn't he? Against Old Trafford.
Yeah.
I mean, he will score a banger every now and then, but in terms considering the skill that he has and the positions he gets himself in,
the consistency.
You'd think that he'd score more goals because he gets past players for fun. It's like Adama Traore.
Yeah, you know what? And that's the maddest bit. But I promise you, Rachel, those 2 players will come up against a coach and a coaching team that will do individual work with them. Do you remember Raheem Sterling, Rachel, before he got coached to finish? Raheem Sterling, still now and again, the old Raheem Sterling comes back. But Raheem Sterling, remember how we used to just miss. And until Pep got hold of him, finish. At the end of the day, it's all about drills. I'd like to thank Rachel and Mundo. I think it's going to be a tough game tomorrow unless Man United get that first goal tomorrow. I can only imagine what the atmosphere is going to be there. I still don't know if I'm going. So I'm still waiting for a ticket, so I'm going to be there. Hopefully I can get into the stadium. Hopefully I'll.
You're gonna break in again.
No. Those days are gone. Those days are gone. Man's couple of decades old now. Can't be seen to be doing that. But yeah, what do you guys think, guys? Please like, share, subscribe to the channel. Rachel, can they please let them know where they can find you?
Oh yeah, you can find me on the First XI. I'm not on it as much as I used to be because I've got uni and stuff, but you can find me on there. And obviously there's my Law versus Ethics channel, which I just started, and it's just basically talking about sensitive subjects and sort of the law involved in it and people just knowing their rights. Basically, there's going to be a lot of human rights stuff on there. We want people to know their rights, so that's what I'm.
I'm sure me and Mundo, I'm invited 100%. Mundo will be invited as well. Somebody of the legal mind as well, 100%. What's the channel called, Rachel?
Law versus Ethics.
Right. If any of you guys are really interested in law versus ethics, if any of you guys are interested in having a vibrant discussions you don't really get to see being discussed on YouTube, then please go right over there right now. If you're interested in human rights, if you're interested in law, if you're interested in ethics and humanity with all the different shades and all the different, different shades of gray and maybe purple and pink and yellow, all of the colors, if you want to use, go and check it out. Check it out. Rachel, when you use your thing, can you put it on there? You've got the Devil's app. Can you put the other one on there as well? On the other channel as well, or just if you share it, I can just put it on the. I'll put it underneath, or you can just comment under this video when this finishes, and then you can put it up there. Bobs, I don't know what time it turns off. Big up, Bob. Bobs, listen, don't worry, bro. Can you hear us? Can you hear us? We're just about to log off.
Yeah.
About to log off. We talked about tactically. We had a bit of a debate about the midfield. I'm just sick of the two. I want to see three. I don't care who it is. I don't care what it is. I don't want to see two anymore in midfield. And we talked about a bit like that. We talked about Newcastle game. We talked about Ronaldo FC, how much of it would be milk, the propaganda. We talked about both.
I'll put the media on mute because I can't.
Yeah, both Ronaldo and Rachel, Mundo and Rachel have both said that they're quite confident about tomorrow's game, and I'm saying football is not is that one of the things we love about football is unscripted drama. If Man United don't get the goal early because the fans are going to be buoyant, then I can think it could be a struggle. The longer it stays 0-0, the more they'll get confident. And
the last time we were on a stream together, Nuruddin, and you said that was the preview for the Leeds game, and I was like, we're going to beat them by a lot of goals.
I'm always cautious.
That means we're going to win by 4 or 5 goals tomorrow. That's how it works.
Right. You know what? I keep saying it. I'll keep being cautious. You keep saying this team is getting a slap. Because me and Bobby was sat here when we came back from that game. And we did the remix. We got 5 on it. That's when the remix 5 on it came out. But that's what we did, Bobby. But how are you, bro?
Listen, I'm good. Apologies. I've had a very, very eventful evening. I've been out at football. I've also because I missed a stream with Steve, so I need to apologise to him. And I had the Edinburgh Derby, so I had to do preview for that as well.
Brilliant.
Listen, there's 2 things about the game. Yeah. Well, first of all, only Man United can milk such a transfer. The transfer window closed when? We're still talking about Ronaldo coming, he's walking onto the pitch in the full strip and stuff like that. I'm just like, okay, I get it, he's here, right? No problem. And tomorrow, another thing I want to say, it can go 2 ways tomorrow. Okay? Can you guys hear me? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it can go 2 ways tomorrow, right? Either we basically put on the burners on and we absolutely wipe them off the pitch, or Newcastle spoil the party. And it can only go 2 ways. And God help Ollie, because if we get Ronaldo's return, Jesus is Lord. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but the Brazilian players have just been cleared that they can play. Yeah.
Fred starts then.
Oh, God.
Listen, The Hail Marys that our fathers cannot help, Donny. It's done. It's done. Listen,
Rachel,
I just saw that now.
Rachel.
Seriously.
Rachel, I thought I hated Fred and McTominay, like in terms of both of them playing together, especially when Fred is on this form. Because we've seen Fred, Pastor Fred, when he's on form, he's a different kind of player.
It's too early in the season for Fred to have any form. You know? It is what it is. We'll wait till mid-season. He'll have like a nice little purple patch, and then he'll go back to doing Fred things again. I'm tired.
There it is. Khalis Ramadan Lassie, who's the chief reporter of United Real Therapy, broke the news at the same time as Bobby. Bobby, you and Khalis Ramadan Lassie are the bearers of fantastic news. So there we go. There we go.
Do you know the funny thing is, Nuruddin? The day before match day, I follow a few accounts on Twitter, and I put them on notification just in case of anything like squad news and stuff like that. And it came up, and I just thought, that's why I froze when you actually. I was just like, what? Donny can't catch a break. That's it. He can't catch a break.
I just want to quickly just get your opinions. What did you think of Donny's interview with Rio? And do you think he's Donny and now the agent are thinking, yo, we got nothing to lose. Let's just go out and play.
Do you know what, yeah? He's too nice. Do you know what he is? I called him the Milky Way kid, the Dutch Milky Way, because he's too nice. He wants to help everyone. Listen, I remember a certain Michael Essien turned up to training at Lyon and said, I'm not training until I sign for Chelsea. He's too nice now. He's got nothing to lose now. The manager hasn't played him. The manager's opted for injured players before him, players that have had COVID. Listen, this is now him saying, listen, the best outlet, Rio, people are going to watch him. I think just under 500,000 people have watched it. He's got to do that now. Play me or sell me. Now, it's chess. Listen, it's not checkers, it's chess. Now, Ollie's got a situation now. Do you play him or not? And if you don't come January, sell him. Because on a moral point of view, let him go. Like, if you don't, it's not even now it looks personal. I do think it's personal. But this is someone's life we're playing with and livelihood. Do you know what I mean? Like, all he done was come to Man United. Like, we need to forget, we were struggling to attract quality technical players. And now he's rolled the dice. He said, I can play in the 6. I can play in the 8. So what now? Do you know what I mean? And then when Ollie said, yeah, we know he can play in the 6, I just thought to myself, you've just made yourself look like an idiot. And now we're chasing Declan Rice. Oh, I can't with this team.
No, there's nothing wrong with getting Declan Rice, to be fair. But
we're not addressing the issues now. It's saying to me, it's like you saying to me, right, let's cook something. And then you're like, I've got table salt, but you want the flipping organic salt or something like that. Just deal with the salt. Just use what you've got. Now, I'm not saying Declan Rice isn't the answer, or is the answer, but I'm saying is that we have a European, cultured, technical, young player who, sunk the bridge, went to the Bernabeu and done it up. We saw what he's done for Ajax. But let's not forget, man, he's a winner. He's been winning trophies. And what, he can't get a game over a half-injured Scott McTominay. Let him go, man. Just let. He's got a career, man. Let him go. He's not coming here to play Carabao Cup. That's a disrespect. And you know what? He must have felt. Last thing I will say on it, Nuruddin. When you go to the manager's office and say, I need to play, blah, blah, blah. With his history and previous, he must feel, what's it called? It's embarrassing that he feels he has to, plead his case to be like, listen, I'm a good football player, play me, So yeah, I've seen loads of that up here as well.
Wow. Was this the case that the FBI or whatever the police said there was highly, well, you know what, people, to me, I'll never get people to write to their protests, but, let people protest. To me, even
was he found guilty? So
they didn't even investigate.
They didn't, because she accepted a payment. See, this is
the thing, though, isn't it? Like, if you're going to accept a payment, and I'm sure she has like one of those non-disclosure agreements where she's not allowed to talk about what's happened or whatever, then you can't really know the truth of what's happened at that point. So he can't be found guilty of it, can he? So we don't actually know what really happened, unfortunately. I don't know enough about it, to be fair, but if he actually
I
did
don't-
it, surely there would have been a criminal case against him.
Rachel, I don't think anybody knows enough about it because it was a very much squished case
So what?
or
so
whatever.
what-
I remember being in the
protest
press
about
for
it?
about a week, and it was just headlines more than anything. It was lacking a lot of detail.
Mm.
And the only thing that we heard is probably, there was a payment or there was a sort of settlement. And how many times have you heard that, especially in the US, because that's what the US law is famous for. But guys, we've gone over 1 hour and 10 minutes. And I wanted to have this for half an hour. So, Bobby, let the people know where they can follow you, bro.
Listen, Bits and Bob's YouTube channel. My Edinburgh Derby, Hibs against Hearts preview just dropped. I got 2 big fans from each club coming on. I've just done a little preview as well, so go check that out. And
Big up, bro.
follow me on Twitter at Bits and Bobs _.
Mundo, let them know where they can find you.
Twitter at Mighty Mundo.
There we go. Right. Everything crossed. Rachel, let's hope Rachel's right. The fact that we would think I would be cautious and she would be like, they're getting a slap. Let's hope they're getting a slap tomorrow. Because
It's 3 points tomorrow.
let's hope you're all guys all right. I'm just
If we score 5, Nuruddin, we'll need to do a little video and do another remix or something.
100%. Yeah, 100%. It's going to be very interesting. But big up to every one of you guys. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Please check out Rachel, the avocado. Please remind me, the avocado.
The devil's avocado.
The Devil's Avocado. There we go. So it's there. And also a new Law and Ethics channel on YouTube. Please subscribe there. Go right now. Please subscribe and check it out because it's very interesting debates. Things that are not being discussed. And that's what Rachel is. Get to the nitty-gritty of the most difficult ethical questions that we all have an opinion about. And I can't wait to get this face on there. To go have my point of view, to get even passionate where Rachel had to mute me. So Rachel might get happy with the muting button, because once I go.
I'm just gonna have a special Nuruddin segment on each of my streams that you're on, and you can just speak for like 20 minutes.
Boom, go on my rants, yeah? Go on my rants.
Just like a little monologue session.
Yeah. So I'd like to thank Bobby, I'd like to thank Mundo, I'd like to thank Rachel. Thank you so much. And this has been, so tomorrow we'll see. Hopefully, if I get to the game and I go inside, I'm going to try to do a little bit of content, match experience content. So we'll say, I'll be like, come on, Ronnie, lad, get in there. Ain't the same Ronnie, people. He plays on the left. He plays on the right. No, Ronnie's just a 6-yard, 10-yard guy now, people. So forget about him playing on the left, playing on the right. He's a 6-yard guy now, people. It's going to be interesting because both Rachel and Mundo said Pogba on the left, but Ronaldo usually plays when he goes on the left. He doesn't like sometimes go central because he's got a guy who holds onto the ball a bit. So he goes on the left. So that's very, very
Pogba on the left, Sancho on the right. Our boy Ronaldo makes your team look like shite. Oh, that's the idea.
There you go. He forgot Greenwood, the only gunman we've got at the club, bro, by the way.
Yeah, it'll be interesting what he does. Nuruddin, do you know what? I'm going to phone you as soon as the team line comes up. I'll phone you because I'm interested. I'm interested to see what he does.
I think that's what's got. Everybody's going to be looking forward to that. But thank you so much, guys. Like, subscribe, share, follow these beautiful people, and we'll see you on the next one tomorrow for the match reaction. Let's hope it's a good one. By the way, people, any black people, Asian people watching this, check out Channel 4. It's the Black Takeover. Don't get too giddy. It's only for one day. It's only for one day. Channel 4, British Television, Channel 4, Black Takeover. Only for one day, because they can't have any black people getting too giddy. Try takeover. And all over Twitter and all over this country, gammon explosions. Yeah, bloody what? Even the adverts are full of black people. I'm sick of it. Shoving it down our throats. Please, no black people. I swear to God, that's what's happening. I've been watching it most of the night. You gotta watch it. You gotta check it out. Love people. Win, lose or draw, people, Glazers out. Bristol University bankers out. And I told you all, Richard Arnold was going to take over. One Bristol University banker for another. Peace. Take care.